Hello, I'm Lee Davey and welcome to Ask the Needy Helper episode 16. This is the second part of a two-part series. If you was watching last week, you will know that Frank from the Netherlands asked me the question, why did I quit my job? And I took that right back to my 19-year stretch on the rail industry, which was my obviously consumed large majority of my adult working life. And I gave you some reasons behind why I decided to leave the railway, and also the journey leading up to that point and what was going through my mind emotionally, and almost like the tactics behind why I did what I did. In this part, I want to talk about another job that I just recently quit, because I think there are some really important lessons there to be learned for everybody. And it's part of life, and it's a tough part of life, and it's one that we have to confront and deal with and think about differently, because I'm pretty sure that there are vast amounts of people in the world who actually have a career or a job that they don't enjoy, and we need to challenge that and try to take control of that and ownership of that and make a change. So what is the latest job that I've quit? Well, to give you a little bit of a rundown on what I do for a living, I actually quit working on the railway so I could help people quit drinking alcohol and find freedom and happiness in their lives, right? But I knew that if I was going to quit the railway and lose all my money, then how would I be able to get to helping people quit alcohol? So I decided that I would quit the railway, take my redundancy money, which was really important. I wouldn't have quit without the redundancy money. You need some sort of financial backup plan. And then I was going to give myself a year to see if I could earn money as a professional poker player, which would then give me the freedom and the time to work on my addiction business. And then I would not have to go back to the railway. I could use the freedom and the time that poker playing provided me to eventually help people quit drinking alcohol. Wow, amazing graphics there. What happened was I actually failed in my attempts to be a professional poker player, but quite by accident, I became a poker writer. And I started to earn more money writing about poker than I did working on the railway. I enjoyed it a lot more. I found freedom. I could write whenever I wanted to write. And I got the opportunity to travel all around the world. It was a wonderful, wonderful opportunity, and one that I'm so grateful for. However, I found myself in a very, very similar position than the one that I had on the railway, with some slight differences. I still wanted to help people quit addiction, and the writing gave me the freedom, and more freedom than the railway did, to achieve that. However, it still filled a lot of my time, and the more successful I got and the more opportunities that I grasped as a freelance writer, the less time that I had to work on the addiction. And this came to a head a couple of weeks ago when I was hired as a freelance writer to work for the World Poker Tour at an event in Nottingham in the UK, where I knew I was going to be absent for a 10-day stretch. And as a freelance writer, I have contracts with other people who rely on me to provide poker articles for them. I knew in the week leading up to those 10 days, I had to do double the work, so the people who I worked for during the 10 days, the other freelancers, the other freelance contracts, would still get their work, but they would get it a week ahead. So the week before the World Poker Tour, I was stressed, I was extremely busy, and I wasn't able to do work helping people recovering from addiction. During the World Poker Tour, for 10 days, I worked over 100 hours solely on that project. I wasn't able to help people suffering from addiction. And then the week after, when I returned, I was out of it. I was very tired, worn out, bit of a mess, and I didn't get to help people with addictions. And to be honest with you, I think it's 5 or 6 weeks on, I'm still getting back into the habit of posting on a daily basis as per my editorial calendar, spending time on forums, answering questions and queries, and helping people. And that's not acceptable to me. And this is how it came to a head for me. Two things happened to me. On the day that I left the South Wales to go to the UK to work at WPT Nottingham, it was a Saturday. And every Saturday, I take my son's football team I take my son to football, and I act in a kind of an assistant manager's capacity with with the guy who runs it, Steve, and I help him out and help coach the kids. And it's that one true bond that I have with my son. He doesn't live with me; he lives with his mother. I only get to see him very sparingly, and so the football is really important. It's our time to bond. And he plays right fullback, and if you know anything about football, right fullbacks don't score that many goals, and I just knew on that day he was going to score a goal. He'd never scored a goal before, and I said to him, "Jude, you're going to score today." And I'm working in the World Poker Tour in this casino, and I get a phone call off my son, and he is absolutely elated and delighted that he had scored a goal. When it comes to the milestones of his life, you know, that might not be up there for him, but I can tell you as a father, it would definitely be up there for me. And I missed that. I was in a casino writing about poker. And I reflected upon that, and I realized that I had missed a lot of wonderful opportunities in his life as a result of my decision to leave the railway and to travel around the world to write about poker. Even in that week, I'd missed Halloween with him, and I'd missed bonfire night with him and fireworks. I forgive myself for that. I realized that there's a balance to be drawn between working hard, earning a living, and me having enjoyment in my life, and also being a great father. And I believe, given everything thrown at me over the last couple of years, I've done a really good job of that, and I'm a really great father, and I'm at peace with that. But I still missed him score his first goal. I still missed my son scoring a header from 30 millimeters out. And that hurt. And that day, when he told me I worked 17 hours writing about poker in a casino and earned £215. And I went to bed thinking, I haven't helped anybody today in as much as reducing suffering in the world. I might have provided entertainment for people, but my mission is about reducing suffering. I didn't do that. I didn't enjoy it. You know, I don't enjoy hanging on the shoulders of poker players writing about poker. I mean, if you say the enjoyment of going to the rail industry was like really down here, writing about poker is way up there. But helping people overcome addictions, skyrocketing. So I wasn't happy either. And then I asked myself the question, can I earn £215 in 17 hours a different way? Well, I know I can write a single article about poker in 1 hour and earn £200. So where's the logic in that? And I realized that the only logic in what I was doing was fear of missing out, worry about money, and loyalty to the World Poker Tour. The next day, I jump into a cab from my hotel to go to the casino, and I decide to talk to the taxi driver. It's something I've been doing a lot lately to keep myself happy and motivated, and to have communication with people, and to learn how to ask questions in a whole space. And I said to this taxi driver, what do you do for a living? And he said, well, I'm a taxi driver. And I said, no, what do you really do for a living? What are your dreams? What are your goals? What do you do when you park up this cab? And he told me that he was a cricket agent, that his life mission and dream was to bring young, talented cricketers from India and find them clubs in the UK. He loved that job. It was very pleasurable. And I could also see that he was changing lives. He was bringing people out of a poverty-stricken area such as India, and he was bringing them over to the UK, and he was making their dreams come true. And I was blown away by this. I thought it was hugely inspirational. And when we got talking about it, I asked him, why don't you do this full time? He told me that the reason that he couldn't do it was because he was worried how he would pay the mortgage, that cricket agency work doesn't pay him steadily like taxi work does, and he was worried what would happen and how he would pay the bills if he didn't have the work come in from the cricket agency, whereas the taxi work was steady and secure. It's something that I've heard a million times before. It was I was very mindful of my time on the railway and the emotions that I was going through with the steady paycheck coming through every month. And I'm pretty sure that it's something that you, the viewers, have heard before, either through your friends or you've gone through the same emotions in your head. This need to support yourself and your family, which overrides all your dreams and your ambitions and your goals. However, if you look around the world, not everybody is hamstrung by those same thoughts and feelings of fear of missing out. We will know people who work in jobs and careers where they enjoy what they do and they make a big difference in the world. Some of them have been doing that since they left school. Others have taken big leaps and sacrifices to change careers, to go through some short-term pain to get some long-term gain. And I realized in that moment with the taxi driver that the only thing that was stopping him from living his dream was fear. And that at one day in the future, he would be on his deathbed and surrounded by those he loved. And if they ever asked him what his regrets were, one of his regrets would be that he didn't park the taxi up, throw his keys into the river, and to live out his dreams as a cricket agent. We are more resourceful than we think we are. Speaking to that guy and thin slicing him, I could tell that he was a very intelligent, capable man. He was in his 50s, very wise. I have no doubt, had he quit the taxi job and taken on his role as a cricket agent, he would have made it work. I'm equally as confident that no matter what happened during his life as a cricket agent, he would always find a way to pay his bills while still pursuing his dreams. There is no way that guy would end up on the street, okay, while he was pursuing his dreams as a cricket agent. But he didn't have that belief. He wasn't being given that belief by those around him who loved him, and he didn't have the desire strong enough to overcome the fear, to be entrenched in short-term pain, to eventually get the long-term gain. It's that short-term pain that causes the difference. The more we ponder on it, the more we think about it, the more we are allowing our brain to be comfortable in the status quo. So I got out of that taxi, I walked into the casino, went straight up to my boss and I said, I'm quitting working for the World Poker Tour. I didn't give my time to think. I knew in my gut, that I was being held back by fear and that I was a prisoner, that I didn't have control over my life, that it was being controlled by an emotion, and I didn't like that feeling. And I didn't give myself time to think. I knew it was the right call. So I quit. And now, next month is December and Christmas is coming and I don't have as much money as I would like to buy Christmas presents. I don't have enough money to buy a microphone or so I can make my podcasts better. I don't have money for a camera to glare on me right now so this video is better. Money that working for the World Poker Tour might have provided those things for me. But that's the easy way out, right? I asked myself the question again. Can I earn more than £215 in a 17-hour period? Well, if I can't, I have no business whatsoever trying to help people overcome addictions. Because I'm not that man. I'm not cut out of that mold. I'm not capable of doing it. If I can't earn £215 in 17 hours, there's something drastically wrong with me. I need to go back and find a completely different career path. I need to go back to safe. I don't want to do that. And I want to be an inspiration for people that they don't want to do that. I want to be the person in the back of your taxi cab. I want to be the person not only telling you to throw your keys in the river, but to be holding your hand while you're doing it and to help you every step of the way to find your dream job. To help you find that belief within you, that confidence, that desire, and to get back to what life is all about, and that's living. And fear doesn't allow you to live. And now I'm in a position where the poker work that was taking up all my time and not allowing me to get to my addiction work has now gone to there. Now you might ask, why aren't I pulling it all the way back here? If I do that, I'm banding myself, I'm exposing myself more to too much risk. If you watch the documentary Meru, and I really urge you to do that, you can hire it on Google Play through iTunes. And Meru is about a couple of world-class climbers, 3 world-class climbers, who were the first people to but to actually scale the peak of Meru. Hey, I just spoiled it for you, but in their first attempt, they get within something like 100 meters of the summit. They've been up there for like 2 weeks and they can see the summit. But they stop and they climb down and their mission is a failure. Because when they weighed up the risk reward, they're putting their lives at risk. They were already putting their lives at risk, but to put their lives to a risk tolerance level which was beyond sensible for them, they weren't willing to do that. They climbed down that mountain and they went back up there another time and they conquered it. This is the same thing. We always have to weigh up risks in our lives. It would be a huge risk for me to pack all my freelance work in, have no money whatsoever, take money off the DSS, which is our job security from the government, which is, I don't know, a ridiculous amount of money, not be able to pay my bills, move in with my mum, and then try to build this business up. That's too much of a risk for me. But I can slowly do it in incremental parts. The biggest part of my freelance work that was causing me the most pain was the World Pogo Tour, and that's nothing to do with the World Pogo Tour. I love them, they're a great family, but the work involved, the intensity of the work was huge. It hurt me, and it hurt you, because it meant that I was being taken away from you. I was not able to help you change your lives because I was spending too much time working there, so I removed it. And now slowly, over the next couple of months and years, as I grow this side of the business, and it starts to earn money, because let's be honest here, you know, I won't be able to build it without money. And slowly and surely, I'll be able to remove more and more of the poker contracts out of my life. And eventually, I'll be able to spend 100% of my time reducing suffering in the world by helping people to find freedom and happiness. And that would make me the happiest person in the world. I hope that answered your question, Frank. I hope you all got a lot out of that, and I hope you spend at least some time today asking yourselves the questions of whether you're truly happy and receive joy from your job. What are the reasons why you go to work every day? And what is it that you want to do, and how do you want to make a mark in the world? And how can you transition from where you are today, your current state, to your future state? And if you need any help with that, then get hold of me at needyhelper@gmail.com, because that's what I'm here for. In the meantime, stop drinking, start thinking, because you only get one life, right? Take care. Thank you.